This hour-long session is hosted by Matters Academy, the educational arm of ESG Matters. And Matters Academy is an online learning platform where you can learn about sustainability and ESG concepts and practices with different lectures and training courses.
I think the biggest challenge on my role at the time, or I would say probably with a lot of my peer of my positions, is sometimes to realize the management's aspiration in terms of sustainability and translate it on practical sense. What I meant is, just like you mentioned, communicate the need of different organizations, different departments on the need and how we can motivate them. So I think if the clock wind me back a bit when I'm a bit younger, I would spend a bit more time to learn more about soft skills, moderating, how to do a collaboration with common objectives that with different goals, not necessarily just finance, which a lot of companies still driving number. But now a lot of corporates changing. So I think people of our industry should be good at is bringing people together, pinpoint what needs to be changed system-wise, and persuade the management to assist those changes.
For my role now, I think the biggest challenge is to help to balance everybody's interest. For investors, they have a lot of interest, a lot of requirements that expect the corporations have to comply or follow. But then internally for corporations, because there are a lot of priorities, and we may require a lot of investment for implementing also new initiatives. So we have to get the balance between what is expected by our stakeholders and what can be done by the corporations. So I think this is the most difficult part that we have to figure out when we introduce some new initiative for the corporations. For for undergraduates, I think to prepare them to start their career, they have to broaden their knowledge, because apart from the what they learn from the university, they also have to know about the new emerging trends, what are the global trends is about sustainability, and learn more from peer companies' experience. How do they deal with it, and what is the best example, and how can they persuade the management to go forward to do more about sustainability? And also, it's difficult to get management buy-in, because for now, I would say some of the companies still think about sustainability is a greenwash or nice to have items, but actually it's not. When you talk to the investor and other stakeholders, and you will know what's the real thinking.
Sustainability is a new career. Food waste or our food diet or food purchasing, those are all overlooked by not considering, like keep asking ourselves where the food come from. Is it a wise decision to purchase like all over the world where they are available in our neighbor region, which is more fresh and with like higher nutrients? Usually it's a proportion between time and distance on the food. So I feel like I'm really passionate about food when we talk about food. So from what packaging to use, to how we maximize the usage, to how we handle the waste. So everything has a lot of angles and opportunity that we can improve as a citizen, or as an employee at work, or as a customer in a restaurant, or at home. There's a lot of commonality between food safety and sustainability. It's about creating the culture, and at the same time, I'm making behavior change of people. So my background from food safety, actually it helped me to build my EQ as well. That's why at the very beginning, I say I have a kind of rough career path, even though doing food safety.
I think it's very much about creating that culture and the mindset in the organization. So 30% of what I do in sustainability is education. So educating our internal stakeholders in terms of, what is happening in the field of sustainability, what we can do as a brand, convincing them that we can do it as a brand, I think it's also a big hurdle to get over. And then 20% is probably on strategy in terms of what we should do, because our key wholesale partners like Selfridges they have a project called Project Earth, where they've released guidelines for their brands to actually comply to by 2025 in certain milestones. Otherwise, they're not going to sell our products. So this has been an amazing kind of Trojan horse for us to, point to go to our executives to say, hey, if we want to continue business, we actually have to comply. We have no choice. And so that kind of helped us, progress the decision-making process, because it adds a commercial element into it. We had to pivot starting this sustainable product category because we couldn't get the green light on other initiatives, but that doesn't mean that we forgot about the other initiatives. They were still on the back burner.
ESG stands for environmental social governance, and it's a way of thinking about how do we invest our capital that manages environmental social governance characteristics for better. And today, management of ESG risk is very much developing and being transformed, I would say, with regard to new ways of thinking about how we manage and quantify and price that risk. So we support our clients who are primarily the asset managers, could be also private equity funds. They could be also individuals, for example, running a family office portfolio, or it could be a charity or foundation. But what is common across the industry today is that we are looking for a way to better manage and understand our environmental social governance risk factors and opportunities, and really that's what we do at OGA. And ESG is very much an exciting industry. ESG is one facet of it. I would say the broader market is sustainable investing, and that's exciting because it's really changing the way, I believe, how we manage and allocate capital towards factors such as conservation, towards education, well-being, towards climate, energy efficiency, for example, how we think about human rights issues.
I think the next decade or so is kind of critical for technologies to advance to the point that many businesses can utilize those technologies on carbon reduction. So I think environmental finance, green financing is one of them. But I kind of think that there are lots of technologies being developed, but I think if people can redirect their focus on climate solutions for the next decade, forget the iPhone 13, 14, and just focus on getting the climate technologies right, I think we have a much better chance in succeeding. I think we need to really keep an open mind, because there are just so many issues under the spectrum of sustainability that we need to tackle now. And just don't be frustrated if something's not progressing the way you like it to, because perseverance will prevail.
The most recent issue, and one that's still going on today, is really climate resilience. The questions that we're getting from investors are they're asking us, has Link factored in climate change, climate action, or climate resilience into our business? Some people might be offended, hey, sustainability is my area, I should be doing it. But realistically, like I said before, no single organization, and therefore no single person can deal with sustainability on their own. We have to have a communicating, collaborative approach, and that only takes place when other people are kind of pulling their weight. I think the first thing is this, it's an amazing time right now for sustainability, for whether you've been trained in sustainability or ESG, or whether you're just considering to jump into this area right now. Carbon trading, sustainable finance, net zero presents amazing opportunities. So stay hungry. I think the last point is really, for me, the key to success in sustainability is really looking at communication, collaboration, which I've said multiple times here, and in some ways, looking at how we work on business as mutual, right? So how do organizations work together? This is a concept that Link has been pushing, business as mutual. You can kind of Google that and see our approach to what business as mutual is. I do believe that's going to be one of the key approaches to how sustainability will be emerging in the next few years. I think the first thing, if this person's in Hong Kong or regardless or not, I think you'll find that there's a lot of sustainability professionals that talk at various presentations and forums, this included. Take the initiative, reach out to these people. They're typically on LinkedIn, and just say, hey, look, I've heard your presentation, so and so. I'm interested in learning some insight, and you'd be surprised. A lot of people will respond and say, hey, we're happy to give you mentorship. And the reason for that is, again, going back to what I said, no single organization or person can solve the issues of sustainability. We have to find a way to communicate and collaborate. And if you reach out to someone, let's say a professional, who knows, maybe 3 years, 5 years from now, you two will be working on projects together. And that initial understanding or mentorship has been helpful. I mean, in some ways, Glenn, you and I have been kind of have had that relationship over the years. Countless number of times that I reach out to you for advice, even though you didn't have to provide that. And I'm very thankful for that. And a few other people that I consider mentors as well. And we should be doing that for the next generation of professionals too. So thanks.
就是我相信 CSR 未来是很重要的一个品牌行销。那这个品牌行销跟一般的广告不一样，一般的广告是我可以在媒体上面做广告。可是当我们在讲 CSR 变成品牌的时候，它必须是完全的里外合一。就是你今天讲的 CSR 有关公司的品牌这件事情，你必须实际上就是必须要做到。那我很喜欢这种未来怎么样把企业的核心理念跟 CSR 的这个精神、永续精神合为一。那我觉得这件事情是让公司未来可以将原本可能未来会遇到的风险转换成一个永续的一个竞争力。其实我也会想要跟大家分享，当你今天未来想要做 ESG 相关的，千万不要觉得说我就是要去找 ESG 的工作，因为就像刚刚谈到说这个行业正在发展，其实未来每一个职位都应该要有 ESG 的概念在里面。
因为台湾其实大家知道，就是在2015年的时候，迪卡侬其实有这个零售的扩张，所以当时陆陆续续我也开始接触一些零售相关的一些所谓的永续的一些专案，包含可能现在大家经常会听到减碳啊、节能减碳的这些项目这样子。对，那我至于为什么我现在在 Google， 其实是因为我走的都是比较专案背景的，然后我其实在迪卡侬待了10年之后，其实大部分的供应链我都已经看过了，就是主要的一些塑胶啊、金属啊、纺织是相关都看过，唯一没有看过的就是科技啊这种电子产业。所以当时就是 Google 其实是在19年第一次开亚太的缺，就是在这个职责上，所以当时也蛮幸运的就转到 Google。那目前还是负责这种供应链的一个责任管理的部分，就是人权安全上面。我觉得就是持续学习的这样的心态很重要，就是你譬如说你今天要去打比方好，回到我一开始接触稽核好了，那我也不了解稽核的一些要求，或者甚至地方法规，可是我们要去要求供应商，所以我当然要先自己能够去了解，然后能够解释给我们的供应商听，你这样才有说服力嘛。所以在这个过程中，我自己就是要先去吸收。
就是当我们去选择一个投资标的的时候，或者是我们已经投资了之后，但是我们可能会挑选一些我们觉得它未来表现非常好，可是它现在在 ESG 的表现上面可能还有一点状况，或有一点大家可以一起进步的地方。像这样子的企业，我们可能就会去跟他去做沟通，或去做一些比较深入的互动。那我们把这个东西称为就是责任投资的议核。如果你是一个充满了好奇心，喜欢去学习各式各样事情的人，那这个领域非常的适合你，因为你到不同的领域或是不同的产业去做 CSR 的时候，你可能甚至你会学到不同领域的一些相关的知识。